the lowest point of your life, that was when you lost about $20 million in a second.
And as I walked on the ocean, I thought for a moment, wouldn't it be nice to just keep on walking and you're done? No responsibilities, everything is gone and you become one of those people. I'm a fighter. I'm going to go back and really come out of all this. I'm very confident. So with great confidence, I turn back.
When your son Adarsh, who has DMD, Duchenne Muscular Dystrophy, and that particular night, you treated him not as a father, but as a detached doctor.
When you are detached emotions, you are not likely to be effective.
Right.
The emotion doesn't make you effective because you lose your thought, you lose your what is the right thing to do. And people normally don't live beyond 16 years. Even today he is living at 35, one of the longest survivors.
So when I speak about emotions or, the Navarasas that I was talking about, you are someone who has fully portrayed all of them.
Any relationship with the spouse, in my view, it is a deep friendship and understanding is important. Relationship between spouse should be such, we should encourage each other. You give the boundary, you respect them, and both of people can grow. As an entrepreneur, I always say in my talks, you should be prepared for the worst. Oh, I want to make sure my family is okay. Then you're not an entrepreneur. I always look at glass half full. Oh, that is optimism. It is not optimism. It is positivity. And that positivity is what makes your life fun. Struggle is also good. People don't understand nowadays. You scroll, you do this. But struggling is also makes you feel good. HCG came because there were too many naysayers. Oh, how can you do 20 centers, 30 centers? Oh, come on, you are a daydreamer. Oh, really? I will show you.
In today's episode with Dr. Ajay, we'll focus more on the person behind the personality. We'll discover the backstory behind the story journey of a regular Kannadiga Huduga who was born to a family of modest means but rose to become a leading oncologist after over 2 decades of training and practice at premier institutions in the USA, ultimately founding the renowned HCG chain of hospitals. Today we'll learn more about not just Dr. Ajay, the achiever, but Dr. Ajay, the devoted son, the loving husband, the doting father, and the upright activist out to create meaningful societal change, particularly for the disadvantaged. Before we start, I'd like to inform our viewers that Dr. Ajay has laid bare his entire life story in his autobiography, Excellence Has No Borders. Personally, I have found the book extremely inspiring, pure and raw, and I would recommend you to get a copy on Amazon.
Dr. Ajay, welcome to yet another podcast.
Thank you, Aditya.
Thank you very much for your time. Doctor, whenever we speak about successful people, we speak about their achievements, name, fame, wealth that they have amassed. But little we know that, there's so much of hardships that one would have gone through, extremely punishing and, challenging tasks that they would have taken up. Just like Rome wasn't built in a day, Dr. Ajay did not happen overnight. So there must have been a lot of challenges that you would have gone through. In your book, you vividly mention the lowest point of your life, that was when you lost about $20 million in seconds, and due to the .com crash. At that time, you were living in Boston. You were living in a luxurious bungalow facing the Atlantic Ocean. While all that is there, but because you were so much overcome with the shock, and also there was a guilt feeling, and then you walked straight into the ocean, and then you wanted to end your life. And I want our listeners to know what was going on in your mind, and how did you calm your mind, and also subsequently how did you manage to turn your fortunes around. And if you have to think about it now, what's your feeling?
I think one of the things, as I have written in the book, Aditya, is we all face challenges in life. And we all plan for the future. I had planned for over 15 years, me coming back to India, and then the plan to be in oncology and set up cancer center, and also I had already by that time started my NGO activities, rural programs. I used to come and do a lot of camps, and I wanted to make a difference in like cervix cancer. So all the wealth I had built was primarily to make sure that some of my dreams come true, as they say. And that is the reason I had a very good practice, when I left my practice. And at that time, I told Bhagya, my wife, that look, we are all settled. We have a place in Boston. We can come whenever we want and go. And there was some work she was doing there, studies. So then I'll go to India, come back, and then eventually we'll move to India. With the funds we have and all, we can still spend some time in Boston if we want. But as they say, you ask for something, but something else happens in life. The thing about the .com was, it was unexpected, the rapid deterioration in the stocks. And I had invested in very reputable companies. Through them I had invested. So when I called them about the market going down, they were like, no, it will come back. They wrote even emails. But if you look at a graph from 20 million down to 400,000, it was shocking. And that is, I had a house, nice house, family, the children, twins were just born. I had the other two kids were a little bit grown up. Everything looked right. But when that graph came home that day by mail, I saw it, and on the computer also I saw it. It was a shocker. So to say the least, my stomach was burning because I had so many responsibilities. I thought about hospital in Mysore, Bangalore, already started. So many people working. What am I going to do? So it was very difficult. Even my own brother, we were very close, said, I don't know, my sister-in-law, I don't know what we can do to help you. But, one of the things I noticed is when chips are down, very few people come to help you. And you are on your own.
That's reality of life.
I learned that. And then at 2 o'clock in the night, I got up and then I said, let me take a walk. And as I walked on the ocean, if it was a full moon day and very nice, I thought for a moment, wouldn't it be nice to just keep on walking and you're done? No responsibilities. Everything is gone and you become one of those people. But suddenly it dawned on me, look, I'm a fighter. I'm going to go back and really come out of all this. I'm very confident. So with great confidence, I turned back.
Like a phoenix rise from the ashes.
I turned back and woke up Bhagya, and she said she was in deep sleep. I said, I want to tell you one thing. She said, what? I have to sell this house and also do something about the money I lost. I may have to sue the company which advised me. And then she said, can't you think of going back to work? I said, no, the door is closed. I have to go to India. So, but very cooperative. That is one of the important things about family support. She was immediately okay. I told her also that night, look, I may become a coolie in India. Everything I may lose, but we are going to fight it and do what I want to do. With that determination to make it very quick, I was able to sell the house very quickly because it's strange. I've written in the book, I think, one of my own patient's son was living in Boston. I was near Chicago, but he was living, and he had just sold a big software company for $25 million. So he was looking for a house. It seems he was walking in front of our house and liked it. When he realized I was his father's patient, doctor, it was done very fast. He didn't have to go to bank to borrow. Just gave me, I got a good amount. And then I had sued the company also. And thanks to Bhagya, she had kept all the papers. At that time, what happens is in the AOL mail I had, you couldn't recall. It was very difficult. But she had taken a printout and kept it. I don't know for what reason. So she had a box full of those emails. So I took it to the lawyer. And she said, a good chance, we'll try. And the day was like I didn't have to pay her anything. She'll get a percentage of if you win the case. So that was some arrangement. In US it is possible. So I didn't have to pay her hourly and all that. No, that would be very expensive. But once we filed the case, the company came to settle in the middle of it. So it got settled. So with that I came out of it. And then my journey in India started.
But the crux of the whole thing is that willingness and the courage to fight back.
Courage, and also, as an entrepreneur, I always say in my talks, you should be prepared for the worst. You should be. You can never say, I want to make sure my family is okay, everybody is okay, then only I will jump into being an entrepreneur. Then you are not an entrepreneur. The entrepreneur is somebody who has to take a risk. Without risk, you are not an entrepreneur. But of course, there are degrees of risk. And it depends on to what level your DNA permits. Because, if I am a type of person, I am very bull-headed in taking risk. I know I had family, 4 children, but in spite of all that, I said, I'll take the risk. So it was, obviously it was worth it.
Right. So another incident that was profoundly impacted your life was when your son Adarsh, who has DMD, Duchenne Muscular Dystrophy, who fell from the wheelchair and then he broke his hip and also shoulder. And then you had to fly back to India, and then, you had to accompany him through that challenging surgery. And then I think after a couple of days, he went into a septic shock, and then he had a heart rate spike and a lot of other things. And that particular night, you treated him not as a father, but as a detached doctor. What does that mean? If you could just elaborate on it.
I think the important thing is when you have a situation like this where your own son has this fracture, and Duchenne muscular is a devastating disease with muscular degeneration. They don't have ability to fight. Their ability to heal is also difficult. When you have that, and the problem also is in India, all over the world, it's an uncommon disease. And people normally don't live beyond 16 years. That is what the doctors told in US. And here, even today, he is living at 35, one of the longest survivors. But at that 2017, when I got a call, I rushed back, and thanks to our Bangalore hospital in our HCG, they had brought him and they had to do surgery. So as soon as I landed, we did surgery. And, normal anesthesia they cannot take. So it has to be special anesthesia. But he went into sepsis, like you said, which is common. And his blood pressure was dropping. And I was in tears. He was my son. I thought we may lose. And some of my relatives started coming. So he's in the last view. So my daughter Anjali really gave me a wake-up call. She kind of said, "Come on, you are a doctor. You are this. You cannot lose your mind on this. He's your son, but also you're the doctor.
Yeah.
He has full trust in you. So that woke me up. That is when I said, okay, I have to detach that emotions. Because when you are attached emotions, you are not likely to be effective.
Right.
The emotion doesn't make you effective because you lose your thought, you lose your what is the right thing to do.
Right.
That is when I woke up and really put systems in place. Even in the night, he was home because the hospitals didn't know how to manage. I had to create an ICU at home. And I don't know why at 1 o'clock in the night when I got up, I saw the iPad. His blood pressure was 60 by 0, heart rate 180. He was downstairs. So the doctor who was with him was sleeping. And even EICU guys were sleeping probably. So I just rushed, called everybody and got him out of the sepsis shock in a matter of an hour, get everything. So essentially at that time I really worked as a doctor, not as a father. And that is when you're more effective.
Yeah.
As
Exactly.
you become more involved and more things. And thanks to all that, I think he's doing well now.
Yeah. That's really in a way heartening, but at the same time, it's also very profound to learn something like this. Doctor, in your book, you mention about an early instance where you stand up for what is right.
Yeah.
And the incident where you stood up for your classmate against the teacher who was unreasonably punishing him. So that is a kind of a value that has been instilled from your childhood. Why do you think it is very important that at a very young age these kind of value systems should be instilled?
I think part of it is because of the way you're brought up. My father was a dean of law school, was well known for his transparency, ethics, and believed in what is right to do. My grandfather was Arya Samajist, my father's father, always used to say, when there is injustice, don't bow your head down. Stand up to that. That was kind of instilled in me. And thanks to my mother, she taught us all the Mahabharata, Ramayana, and mainly whether we believe in it or not is a different story. Whether it's true or not. But the characters of them, we learn a lot.
Yes.
We all knew Mahabharata, Ramayana by heart.
Yeah.
Just identifying characters like
Right.
Karna character or Dharmaraya character. All of this, who is good, who is not, Ekalavya character. So we were like believers in it. And also in our house, lot of discussions would take place about politics. At that time, Cold War, communism, rightist groups, Naxalites. We were all for the leftist groups at youth, land for the landless, like that. So when you are doing that, when a teacher punishes a student, I said, look, this is unacceptable. Took the students to the to the owner actually. He was called director. Went there and said, look, unless you get rid of this teacher, we will not attend the class. So he was very nice. He understood, immediately fired him. So that shows that sometimes we don't know our own capabilities, power, students, or anybody, what they have. So the idea is you have to exercise your powers.
Yeah.
And it is actually more gratifying than not doing.
Yes.
When you are in right. So essentially that is what taught me. And also it gives you that confidence. Look, I can do this. So it not only to you, for your fellow classmates.
Right.
Everybody looks upon it like a wow. The wow effect,
Yes.
very important.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Your father was the principal of the government law college.
Yeah. And then he became dean of the university.
Yes, dean of the university. And I think, he was always, as you said in your book, morally upright, although coming from a very humble background. And you would also refer him to as a redwood tree, because someone who is very strong and then you can always lean on. So what kind of impact he had in your life?
See, one of the incidents I've written in the book is about the issue of financial difficulties. See, a character of a person is judged by how he or she behaves in a situation which is not expected. When my father, I remember him as assistant professor, he used to bicycle, go to law college. And because he was a master's in law also, he was very loved teaching. He became a principal at a young age.
Right.
But at that time, he also got this, I'm the principal, I can't bicycle, I should have a car.
Yeah.
So we got a car and 18% interest rate. Obviously, we couldn't afford the car, but the lifestyle changed. The salary at that time used to be 900 rupees a month. So, paying 18% interest, the compounding happened. My father used to borrow. And we didn't like it. We were all in our 5th grade, 6th grade. But he was also an examiner for IAS, law examiner. And papers at that time, there were no online and all. It used to come home, bundle of papers. And he used to, summertime, he used to sit and correct all those papers. He would be paid. So one day in the evening, I was studying near the veranda. I saw two people come. One of them, his own professors from the college, and somebody, big shot appeared, big car they came. And my father was sitting outside with his dhoti and all. They said, we come to talk about my son, he said, the big guy. And I said, what about it? His papers has come to you, please pass his exam. My father said, if he's good, yeah, you definitely will pass. But then he took out notes. And I'm pretty sure all those notes would have taken care of all our loans.
Yes.
One shot.
Yeah.
And my father didn't say anything to him. He held the collar of the professor and threw him out of the gate, saying, what do you think of me?
Yeah.
You think I'm that kind of a person? I was really proud of him. I went and hugged him. And that has remained in my head for all. And also, even in the college, when he was an examiner, actually, I think one of the, if I know correctly, one of the former chief minister is no longer alive, or somebody like that, may not be, but one of the future budding politicians, they all used to study law. And the law college at that time, because they were also practicing lawyers, was morning 7:30 to 10:30. Then they would go and practice. So my father, as a strict examiner, was walking in the examiner hall, and this student had written down something and using papers to copy. So my father noticed him and went near him. This was actually told by one of the former justices who was also taking exam. Also a student. Your father was a dynamic person, lion, he said. Then he went and the guy started swallowing the papers. My dad held his throat and pulled out all the papers and then expelled him. So any amount of political pressure didn't change. I remember a lot of people calling him, political people say, please let him go. You're son of a big politician or something. Let him go. And I said, no. For that he suffered. Because he could have been vice chancellor, he could have been judge. None of that was given because he was uncompromising in his principles. And for that he got a name, in the society, he's very strict, he's very principle oriented, doesn't bend. So how can we give him these positions? So, but it goes with it. I am also like that.
Yeah, those traits have spilled into your personality.
I am also like that. For me, I don't really, I do what I think is right. What is right is very important.
Yes.
Consequences you should be prepared to face. But at the same time, you should say, I am a self-made person. I have never worked for anyone. And I don't intend to work for anyone. But entire HCG was built without a single piece of land from government. No donation. People tell me, you're doing such great work, altruism, this thing. I said, I'm doing because I feel it's the right thing to do. I don't want any help. I know a lot of my friends very good prominent people say the government can donate some money, some donors can give you some scan. I said, I don't ask anyone. It's okay.
Yeah.
And I do my own. So I think maybe later we can talk about it. My whole idea is I'm a self-made man coming from a middle class education oriented. I always tell in my talks, I was never born with a silver spoon.
Yeah.
Never married a silver spoon. Always aluminum spoon, education. Very happy.
Yeah.
And that gives you that confidence,
Yeah.
and ability to do.
Yeah.
And also you can walk the talk because you've
Yeah.
gone through the process.
Yes. But why did you choose medical field? What was the reason? Was it because of your brother who was already into medical field? And why did you not choose to follow your the footsteps of your father?
See, part of the reason was I was quite young, and growing up, my brother was the shadow for us. He was very well recognized by the family. He was a debater. At a very young age, he could quote Shakespeare and play in dramas. Photographic memory, very good. And everybody, family thought I was a dud. It's not that, because, I was good. But, I remember once winning a first prize in some competition at Bishop Cotton's. And then I said, I got a book and some sweets. I said, anyway, my family won't worry. I ate all the sweets on the way walking home. And I didn't even tell them I won the prize. I said, anyway. But, it is a challenge. What happened was, my dad and mom used to talk and say, what are we going to do with this second son, Ajay? My mom used to say, I don't know. My mom her father was a big mandi merchant, right? Maybe he will work there, and I used to, like any kid, I used to go and play some cricket, and maybe he can take up cricket or he can work in the... So, that was the talk I heard. But I was actually reasonably good. Even in my middle school, I used to score well, but family didn't, various reasons, they didn't really look at it. Because my father was focusing on my brother. And like when he goes, if he doesn't win a medal, he would go to the street and say, is he coming with a medal or not? Debate medal and all. That is the level of attachment he had. So when I was studying for my SSLC, it was a turning point in my life. My brother was in college, and he came home and met one of my teachers, Mr. Shamarao, I remember him. He asked him, how is my brother doing? Because we were only 1 year apart, in the school. He said, he is Amar, he's not like you. He's not even going to get first class and all. Average student. So he came to me and then stood on the doorway. I was studying in the room and said, I heard from Mr. Shamarao, I'm really ashamed of you. I looked at him shocked. I said, okay. That is when I said, I'm going to teach you a lesson. Because I knew my capabilities. It kind of, as they say, your blood boils when you hear such statements. Yeah. I didn't reply to him. I didn't argue with him. I just looked at him and started studying like crazy. My father and mother were just shocked. Because I used to study till 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Sometimes when in our house, so many children, 5 children, there were rooms also not available. Sometimes I would study in the puja room itself all night. But when the exam came, I scored 2 percentage points more than him, 83%. I missed the state rank. First in social studies, I missed the state rank by few marks because I made one mathematics error. So everybody was shocked. Oh my God, and then suddenly I wanted to be a historian. I loved history. Even today I read a lot of history and anthropology, history, very, very civilization, very interested how things came about, what. So I was only 15 years old and then not even 15, 14 and a half. My dad suddenly took out some horoscope of his professor. Professor Menon had given, your second son will be a doctor also. Will be a good doctor, famous doctor, something like that. Yeah. So he kind of started pushing me. And then so made me take a PCB
Okay.
in the PUC, and my brother was already there,
Yeah.
1 year ahead of me. So kind of the journey into being a doctor. And my father my brother would have actually made a good lawyer, excellent lawyer. And a lot of his friends told him, make him a lawyer. But my father was bent on him becoming a urologist.
Okay.
Because he had a urology doctor friend, he admired him. So sometimes in life, Aditya, things change where you are not in control, where you feel somebody else has taken control over you. That has happened. That happened. Not that we regret it. I don't regret.
Yeah.
But from others' viewpoint, they look like Ajaikumar has done well. But internally, I feel I could have done a lot more things going into this kind of field. Even politics, I was interested. Lot of things I could have done, social reforms. But it's okay.
Yeah.
It's gone. Bygones are bygones.
Yes. So, as a medical student in India, you always wanted to work for the rural development. But then, you had to move to the US. And then after several rejections, I think you got placed at the University of Virginia.
Afterwards, Texas, yeah.
Yeah. So, and then the residency program. So, you were also offered a stipend of 8,000 rupees. I think that must have been $8,000. So that must have been a huge relief, I would say, right? And but then again, your field of choice was cardiology. But then what incident actually took place that led you to take, oncology?
See, in the medical college, I was very good in cardiology. And I used to compete a lot. I loved cardiology. Like take your stethoscope and hear murmurs and all of that. And in the exam also, I used to do very well. But when I went to US, my first year was in University of Virginia, where I did a rotation.
Okay.
In the rotation, I saw these cancer patients getting radiation, medical oncology, very early stages at that time in the 1970s, not very advanced, a lot of people in pain. So that was the really a ticker for me to see why cancer is so difficult to treat. Why is it so much pain? Why people suffer, and why cancer is called always terminal? This why business came. I had to answer that why. So because of that, I took up the challenge. And then I went to my professor. He was Dr. El Mahdi. He was originally from Egypt.
Okay.
I remember talking to Dr. El Mahdi. I am interested in cancer, but I want to go to learn all about cancer. Here I feel I'm not getting much what I want. This thirst for knowledge. And he looked at me he was having a pipe, he looked at me and said, who knows, try MD Anderson. I didn't know what is MD Anderson. There were no, you couldn't go online and check it. Nothing was there. You were talking about 1975. So I did some research, went to the library and looked at it. I got really into it. Man, this is a great institution. So I wrote a letter. And I got a letter back saying that we don't have any position for 3 more years. And I said, I was about to give up. Maybe cardiology I should go. Then she wrote in that, you can come for an interview if you want now. For 3 years from then. Talking about 1978. I said, okay, why don't I go and see what the hospital is? So I took a Greyhound bus and traveled across US South, Carolinas and all. And I remember one incident. I was standing there in the bus stand. 2 immigration officials came and said, show me your identity and all. So when I showed my green card and said I'm a doctor, they said, sorry, a lot of illegal people come here. That is when I understood about these illegal immigrants and all. I never knew about it. So anyway, I went to Houston. It was a different place. Even the country was different. People walking with guns. Yeah, and then Texas hat,
Yes,
Texas drawl.
Yes.
But 3 days in MD Anderson, I must have really impressed them. They said, I have something for you, the doctor said. Her name was Dr. Tapley.
Yeah.
I'm going to offer you a position now. And from $8,000, I went up to $15,000.
Yeah.
And that was a amazing turning point because I was, when I came back to Virginia to say I'm going to leave, that was in January and I had to leave in June. They were very upset. They wanted to really keep me as chief resident and all. I said, no, I want to go mecca of oncology. So that's how I moved to Texas to experience it.
Yeah. So it's supposed to be one of the world's renowned cancer care center. And at that time, I think you were introduced to a concept called planning clinic by Gilbert Fletcher.
Yeah.
And wherein, all the respective department heads would come and discuss a case, and then collectively they would come to a decision and then implement that. So you have also implemented that aspect or that philosophy here in HCG as well. So could you please talk about it?
Yeah, that time itself, it's called multidisciplinary clinic.
Okay.
They called it a planning clinic. Every day morning at 7:30 we would meet. And one of the amazing thing was people from all departments would come. Medical oncology, surgeons, everybody would come and discuss the case. I was really struck by that, a team effort.
Yeah.
And particularly when I did my medical oncology also there, fellowship, I learned how complicated cancer is.
Yeah.
So when I came back to India and started HCG, one of the primary things I wanted to bring about is this concept of multidisciplinary. Because in India at that time, even today, most of the doctors, you see one doctor, they write down their opinion and give you, this is the treatment. But cancer is such a complex disease. No one person can be an expert. Even I say all my talks, even to patients, after 50 years of oncology, I'm not an expert. You can't be an expert because
so that's why they call it as a practice.
Yeah, you learn. So that is when I started it. I have started my own clinic on Tuesday for advanced recurrent multidisciplinary and a tumor board on Tuesday morning where entire 400 oncologists come together and discuss the cases and discuss what should be done. So it is a good education. What is the right thing for the patient? Outcome. See, one of the things in cancer is you have to give good outcome.
Right.
And when you meet so many brains together, look at pathology, radiology, genomics, everything today, you hopefully come close to making the right choice.
Right. So your next endeavor included setting up a cancer care center at the Burlington Medical Hospital. And so when you went there, you were given a corner room with just a small table and a chair. So you had to set up the entire thing from scratch. How has that experience helped you in setting up hospitals here in Bangalore and Mysore?
See, I have to tell you a little bit of a background to that. See, when I was in MD Anderson, because I trained in two fields, I was good in both radiation and medical oncology.
Okay.
They wanted me to be in charge of a lung program, very exciting program, research, clinical, to be an assistant professor then. It was a very good position offered. But I discussed with my brother. I said, look, Amar, I always want to go back to India. They're offering this position. What do you think? Because then by that time this Burlington offer had also come. And the thing about Burlington was something to learn the ropes from scratch. You have to do everything. Nobody to help you. You are on your own. You're just out of training. You're on your own. He told me that, look, if you ever want to go back to India, you have to go to Burlington because you learn. But if you want to stay here, you'll become a big oncologist, famous, world-renowned in lung cancer and all. You should stay in MD Anderson. These are the two choices. It was a difficult choice, but I knew I want to go back to India. I want to do something. That is when I chose to leave that very reluctantly. With a heavy heart, I left. I was having good time in Houston. It was a vibrant city, lot of things. So I came to a little bit of a boring place, but I took the challenge of starting my own center. And it went well. And one of the amazing thing was I was the first practicing doctor from outside United States born, and all 99% white population. But within 1 year, I was seeing 100 patients a day. Became so busy. I knew, my God, with this, how am I going to go to India? And and then that corner they had given me, I used to call it black hole of Calcutta. The corner was becoming very prosperous for the hospital also. They didn't realize it is so much in demand. Because people used to go to university and they never discuss this. But once it became well known, I brought in partners. And then I made the condition I have to go 3 months to India to study. So that is how the journey started.
Right.
Of me putting up an oncology center, primarily to learn the ropes. In fact, for the first 3 months, I didn't know how to even bill the patient. And I had a secretary who didn't know. So both of us used to sit at a table and say how to fill this paper, and we never got any reimbursement. Because in there, you're not paid.
Yeah.
You're a consultant.
Right.
So whatever you bill to the insurance, that is the pay for you, and to the hospital.
Right.
So we didn't even bill properly.
Yeah.
But I learned
Yes.
that was the thing, and it was a, I would say, looking back now, it was a risky move. Moving to Burlington, starting this on my own, just out of training, 100 patients a day, managing. But it gave me that immense confidence. Risky, but confidence. Hey, I can now climb Mount Everest if I want to. That is the feeling. There is a range called Brooks Range in Alaska. And the saying goes that if you get lost in Brooks Range, you can never come out alive if you don't have a campus. So I used to tell you, now with this experience, if you leave me in Brooks Range, I'll come out. So that is a level of confidence I got, and it kind of, future helped me to build HCG when everybody said you cannot.
Yeah.
So it really was a starter for me.
Yeah. In a way, you turned the challenges into opportunities.
Opportunity, but yes, I don't know whether opportunity, but it was something I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And it gave me that confidence.
Yes.
It was a confidence builder. Like people said, how can you go back to India? How can you build I was thinking of only one cancer center at that time, 1 or 2. How can you do? There's so much of bureaucracy, corruption. People used to say all the negatives. But I said, I can overcome it. I can overcome. I will stand by it, but I can overcome. So with that thought process, it gave me that confidence. I would say my MD Anderson training in medical oncology, seeing advanced cases. Even today I see advanced cases and interacting with them, learning the ropes of the patient. And my experience in Burlington gave me that kind of a push to come back to India and do. And come back to India was already decided.
Yeah.
But with a level of high confidence I could do this.
Yeah. Right. Doctor, so far I've heard you about few instances and your experiences in life, and also I have read your book. This is something that I would like to say. In every there is in our history, I would say, there's something called Navarasa. So there are different emotions. Certainly I can tell you with confidence that your book portrays all emotions, and there are sub emotions too. So now one such moving emotion I would like to just moving experiences, I would say, was with your patients. So I would like to just recall some of the incidents that happened. One was with a patient called Annette. She was a 44-year-old woman, and she had a breast cancer.
Yeah.
And then you treated her and she went into remission. and then she had her dreams fulfilled. She wanted to work, she
Yeah.
wanted to travel, and she was able to fulfill her dreams. And the second one was Alaima. She was a teacher and a mother of 2 children, and then her desire was to see them married, and then she wanted to become a grandmother, and then she was able to do that as well. And then there was Quinn. She was a farmer's wife, and she had an extensive breast cancer. And then she also went into remission after your treatment, and then lived for 7 more years. Now, one interesting fact is that, so when the disease recurred, instead of you consoling her, she consoled you, expressing her gratitude of for your care. So could you please tell me what is the philosophy behind this whole experiences? And I think you have coined the term called onco philosophy.
Yeah. See, like even though as an oncologist you treat patient, I always tell my patient, do you know I'm learning a lot about life from you? Your behavior, your way you approach disease. So even I am your consultant, you are also my consultant helping me. So this is what I learned from treating my patients. Like in 1979, when I went to start my practice, there was this patient who was told she has got extensive disease. She has got few months to live, but this hot doctor is coming from Houston. He is going to see you. So she was there waiting. I remember the room number also, 464. She was waiting. Then she was a worker for GE plant. And she said, when I started telling her, I'm going to put you in remission, I'm going to do this, her eyes widened and said, you mean to say I'm going to live? I said, of course, this is what it's going to do for you and all that. And I gave her, and for the next 8 years, she wanted to go skiing, cross-country skiing, Colorado, travel to Ireland. Originally, she was from Ireland, a family. So I encouraged her to do all that. I used to give chemo breaks. But all this time I learned that it is not how long you live, it is how you live. And quality of life without any pain, something. So, I just need to complete the story because when I was in India in the mid-80s trying to see what I can do for a few months. Then I got a call saying that she's very sick. And then I went back, and then I met her home at this. Normally we don't go to home, but I went home and I told her if we can do this kind of new treatment and all that. She said no. She had a disease in the lung and she wanted to thank me for all the years she has achieved her goal. Thank me. With her holding my hand, she thanked, she was coughing, and she died that night after I left her home, as though she was waiting for me to come and see and die. Similarly, this other patient also, like I said, her blood pressure was 60/0. She had 8 years, she had done very well, 7-8 years with extensive disease, gone into remission, disease came back, calcium level went up, bone disease. And usually when you go to the room, the family goes out. So there in US, so she was only with me. And I was like, her blood pressure was very low. And I started crying. I couldn't control myself. And then she kind of held my hand and consoled me, saying, you had given me like 8 years, and here she was consoling me when she was about to die. So that is onco philosophy, where you learn about life. Here is your own patient consoling you. So like that, number of incidences both in Aditya, both in US and India. I've had so many instances of patients' behavior. Knowing you may die in few months, you're still laughing and you're smiling. And then, I think, and people who have everything are angry all the time. I don't know whether you're going to bring up, there is an incident happened where the guy in Mumbai, in Normal Point, very famous business point, he was not cancer, but he didn't have legs or arms. He was on a skateboard and he was trying to cross the road, smiling with a tall guy, and I was standing with one of my directors trying to raise funds. I was looking at all. I like to observe people, learn. And then people were honking in their Mercedes-Benz, BMW, shouting, got the red light, green light, angry. Here is this guy with no legs and arms smiling and chatting. I said, that is, you should learn from it. If you don't learn, it's a missed opportunity for us.
Yeah.
So that is what I try to kind of teach my doctors, even patients, I tell them. And I learned so much from patients.
Yeah.
Because they are smiling, they're joking. And one of my patients used to say, when they said, oh, you lost your hair, and she used to use a wig and take out and say, look, this is how I look, I'm proud of it. Making jokes about it. A lot of things about oncology, particularly when you know a person has a limited lifespan and still not showing that remorse, worry, or bitter anger. See, some people start showing anger at others. They're angry, bitter. Why did I get cancer? What is it? Why do I deserve? But a lot of my patients were not like that. They were like content, happy, having each day dinner meant a lot with the family. And that is what we should look at life. That is the onco philosophy for me.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Doctor, while you have formed many successful business partnership, and the most important one is your life partner, that is Bhagya. So you met her in 1981, and just after 2 meetings, you decided to marry. So when I speak about emotions, or the navarasas that I was talking about, you are someone who has fully portrayed all of them, whether it is valor, whether it is strength, whether it is sadness, there is grief, there is also this emotion between you and your wife. I think I read the chapter where you would exchange letters for so long. I mean, for several months, I think.
1 year.
1 year. 1 year. That's very interesting. Now, but she has been a very significant contributor to your life's journey, entrepreneurial journey. And one such instance I would like to recall here is that her meticulous record keeping. I think you spoke about it earlier, which saved you, which I think you got $2 million from the investment advisors because of that .com crash. So, and then also you spoke about her mental strength in handling several things, like when her father got ill and then subsequently he passed away, and then again Adarsh's treatment in the US. She had to juggle between these two things. So you lauded her about her mental strength. So could you please talk about this partnership of yours?
Like any relationship with the spouse, in my view, we always talk about love. We always talk about getting along so much, but it is a deep friendship.
Okay.
And understanding is important. Like, I am not that easy person to get along. I wouldn't say difficult, but not easy. I have my own views. I want to do this. For example, you take, like Bhagya came to US at the age of 21. And I was already in practice. And I was already had a house, big house outside, ranch house. And she was just left alone. I used to go early morning before daybreak and come back in the night for a while. And she had to do things there, develop it, being away from parents, everybody, no friends. Literally, no friends. We did develop some friends. There was a couple of people, even of 1 or 2 of Indian origin. We did over a period of time. But the important thing was, what I did was, I encouraged her to get into something she liked. Because she was a science graduate. For various reasons, her parents said, okay, do your BSc. You know how it is, even though they don't assess what she's capable of. She was a good artist. She would do a lot of vegetable carvings, paintings, all of that. And she was a Bharatanatyam dancer, very good. I had encouraged her even before marriage. The letters also I used to write. So those things, and liked outdoors. So I made sure we go on trekking, doing outdoors things, and also encouraged her to get into art. So she got into her bachelor's in art. So what was it was, I said she should develop her own profile and do things. While we wanted to have kids, we had kids and all. She used to drive 2 hours to go to the university to attend her class. She did very good. Then, of course, she got into one of the incidents. She got into very famous school in Boston. But one of the things for her was self-confidence. Because, you grow in a family where your parents oh, you don't do anything, that's okay, I will take care of it. You begin to feel. So that is what I felt for her to take up a lot of these activities, skiing, backpacking, and then identify a talent. Because when she applied later on to University of Chicago not University of Chicago, the Art Institute of Chicago. At that time, it was number 1 rated in the country. I told her, please apply. Oh, where will I get and all this, But it's okay, apply. Let us see what are we going to do with kids. Kids are, how are you going to manage? It's okay. For everything, there is a way to manage. And long behold, she got into Art Institute of Chicago without an interview. That showed how good she is.
Right.
And I don't know even today whether she recognizes how good she is. She's a very good artist. But I didn't want her to be in my shadow.
Right.
I thought that is wrong. She should develop. So now she's a professor at the BU University, her own art studio, gallery. So I think coming back to this, a relationship between spouse should be such, we should encourage each other and give that, I call it, that space to each other, boundaries. We don't have to kind of meddle in each other's affair. You give the boundary, you respect them, and both of people can grow.
Right.
What happens in lot of relationship is one person becomes dominant or one person becomes negativity. We are very positive people. Even with my son illness, when everybody said, as I told you, that he may not live, both of us said we will try. Both of us used to give a lot of massage for him, spend time, sing songs with him. And that actually brought us closer. See, it is a genetic disorder. So people said, oh, it has come from mother. It's a gene. What my family side, my father was expressing unhappiness. What happened here? Why? I said, it is actually nothing to do with her. And the important thing is, even though others today is in a wheelchair and all, there was a president of America was in a wheelchair, Franklin Roosevelt. So a lot of people have achieved things in a wheelchair, and we should not be negative. And we should see positivity in that also, because he has taught us so much. And also because he had this diagnosis, we decided he may need companions, he may not have friends as he grows. So we decided to try, even though Bhagya had already a tubectomy and all, we tried. And through this we got twins. We call it as a gift of Adarsh, because we wouldn't have. So there are a lot of, always there is a positive side to life. And this is something a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people become so negative. Like if you take a glass, people tell me, how do you look? I always look at glass half full. Oh, that is optimism. It is not optimism. It is positivity. That means you look at glass, you can say glass is half empty. But you say glass is half full, that means you look at it in the positive way rather than negative way. And that positivity is what makes your life fun. So even in extreme circumstances, you can have fun. And I will take on few more minutes. I want to tell you. Because people always say, what is, people say, happiness. The American slogan is pursuit of happiness. I question it. I am a why person. I say, what is pursuit of happiness? Because people look at others, somebody, oh, he is going through so much. He tells people, I'm a normal guy. You walk with your legs, I walk with my wheelchair. Okay? That is his answer. So we have to understand that everybody, if people look at it positively, it makes life worth living. People always say unhappiness, I don't want to be. But tell me, Aditya, how can there be happiness without unhappiness? It is an integral part of life.
Yes, yes.
Maybe we will do some podcast on that in
Yes,
future.
yes.
Because we need to dissect this very much. In Buddha said, we all believe in Buddha, we love his teachings, eightfold path of Buddha, and desire is the cause of all sorrow. Don't have desire. But my question is, without desire, what is the point in living, man? So you have to have desire, but you have to find happiness in that desire.
Yes.
Even struggle is happiness.
Yes.
We see, I don't know, there is a great movie called Grapes of Wrath, one of the original English movies, black and white.
Okay.
In that, there is famine, there is struggle, everything, but they find happiness in that. See, struggle is also good. People don't understand nowadays. You scroll, you do this, but struggling is also makes you feel good.
Yeah.
You are unemployed, you are struggling, you don't have a job. It's actually good. You should enjoy that. It's easy to say for us, but it is a pleasure what you go through. When I lost 20 million, I told my brother afterwards, I learned so much from it. Now you can say, but I was experiencing it. I know, my God, I can go. It's a great show. Where will I get this chance? But so you have to look at it like that. That is how HCG came.
Yeah.
Otherwise, HCG wouldn't have come.
Yeah.
Because HCG came because there were too many naysayers. Oh, how can you do 20 centers, 30 centers? Oh, come on, you are a daydreamer. Or, really? I will show you. See, you take it and be prepared for failure.
Yeah.
Like in Adar's case, we were prepared at 16 he may die. We set that floor. After setting the floor, whatever you get is a blessing.
Yeah.
Now he is more than double doing good.
Yeah.
So this is what we have to, onco philosophy, reflecting on life, reflecting on what people said. It's very important to make your life fun each day.
Yeah.
Each day should be fun.
When life gives you lemons, make a lemonade.
Yeah, fun. It should be. See, negativity is the root cause of lot of them. But you should understand the problems, solve, but in a positive way.
Yeah, absolutely.